Hello everybody, how you been? Back with another episode of Sky, and actually probably gonna have a few more episodes in the can and ready to go up. Gonna move back to the old format of smaller chunks, but more frequently, so I'm going to do, hopefully, every Friday a new one will be up. About 10-15 minutes in length, maybe a little bit more. I'm just gonna start cranking these out because I have a little bit more time now, but that may not stay permanently, but I'm going to try to do as much as I can in the time that I have. Yeah, outside of that, come check out the site for other things. August 1st is going to be a fairly big day, so definitely come back then. What else? There's things up right now. I did a review of SteamWorld Dig, really fun game. Max has been doing a lot of artwork. Yeah. And my other podcast percentages, I've done another one goes up Sunday. Anyway, that's about all, and enjoy The Hunted Sky. Grace stared at the single, half-empty glass of black liquid in front of her. They'd moved to the engine room of the Saki, Grace deciding that if she was going to cry, she was going to do it privately. Quinn sat on the floor next to her, a bottle of unlabeled beer in her hand. I know it's hard, the first time, I mean. Hell, it doesn't get easy unless you find a reason to. I don't think it'll ever be easy to do that. I killed people, Quinn. Yeah, only a couple, and you helped save some lives, too. But Yeah, I know. Believe me, I know. Just try to take your mind off it with something else, alright? The pilot lifted her head. You'd said we'd have a heart-to-heart. Quinn gave a short laugh. Yeah? Though I did think this was it. What do you want to talk about? Why don't you ever leave here, or talk to me anymore? The pain on Grace's face showed more than she wanted, but she didn't have much control over herself at this point. The engineer gave a long, drawn-out sigh and shifted. I've got issues with people. Part of it is growing up a tribal, part of it is just me. I don't really like the outside. It makes me really uneasy. Alright, uneasy is a bit too soft. It scares the shit out of me. All that open space, so many things I can't control. I don't know how to deal with it. Same goes for people. I'm sorry. I had no idea. Quinn waved her hand dismissively. And not like you made my childhood a living hell, or gave me a messed up brain. Doc said it's some phobia. An awkward silence fell between the two. After a moment, Quinn spoke. So, you, I was wondering if, well, maybe. She let out a frustrated grunt and fell silent. Slowly, timidly, Grace let herself fall to the side, letting her head rest on the other woman's shoulder. Neither spoke or moved. Another awkward silence filled the room until Grace broke it. I figured out you designed for the banger in less than 2 minutes. Rose led the scarred, black-haired man, known only as Doc, down from the rooms that Fiona had directed the 2 women they'd recovered be given to sleep. How are they doing? The man picked up his hat and coat from the rack by the door. Both of them are severely bruised, showing signs of assault and torture. One has multiple broken bones, the other has possible internal bleeding. I have sedated them both for the night, which they will hopefully sleep through. They will need physical and mental therapy as well as support of some sort for quite some time. They also mentioned that there was a third woman who was far more injured with them, though I doubt that she would be still alive if she had not been picked up by the rescue team by now. I will return in the morning to begin any operations I must, but there's nothing I can do tonight. The singer stepped in between the man and the door as he turned towards it. Honey, if you think you're going out that door while there's a girl upstairs bleeding inside, then you may want to reconsider. Now, get your tools, get your ass back up there and do something to help her, or I swear I will give you another scar across that pretty face. He set his jaw and stared down at her for a moment. His expression broke and he sighed. Rose, you know I wouldn't leave someone to die like that. I did everything I could to make them both comfortable. They'll both be fine until the morning. Rose smirked. I don't know why you try to keep that Mr. Professional shit around me. If you're sure they'll both be okay, then go on. Get some sleep. You'll be a busy boy tomorrow. The forest was pitch black. Not even the light of the moon could penetrate the unusually thick clouds that night. Fiona and Silas did their best to follow the tracks that the rescuees left, searching for the supposed third. We should head back soon, love. The captain looked around. Once we find her, she couldn't have gotten... well, never mind. Silas looked in the direction his wife was. What could have possibly been a woman, caked in blood and dirt, her short hair matted to her head, leaned against a tree. She was almost terrifying in the dim light of their flashlights, shadows playing across her features in a way that made her look almost monstrous. Hey there. She didn't respond. She didn't even move. We won't hurt you. Been out here looking for you for a bit. Want to come with us and we'll see that you get patched up and fed? Again, the woman didn't respond, instead slipping down the tree and landing against the ground with a soft thud. Fiona kneeled next to her. She's out cold. Come on, help me get her to the truck. They arrived at the base to find an exhausted-looking Doc waiting for them. They carried the woman to Grace's workshop and laid her on the cleanest table they could find. Doc set to work examining her, frowning and shaking his head as he did. My God, what happened to her? Dunno. I was hoping you could tell us and, make sure she doesn't die. Yes, well, I'm not sure that would be possible. He started peeling the blood-encrusted bandages off, revealing the long gash across Emily's neck. God, that looks almost professionally done. They cut in just a way to sever only her larynx, and that would have been the source of a fever. He looked at the infected wound, shaking his head slowly. After a few minutes more of examination, he turned back to Fiona and Silas. I'm honestly not sure she'll live through the night, no matter what I do. As it stands, she shouldn't be alive now. But if you'll send some coffee and Aaron with my bags, I will do my best. Also, the strongest alcohol that dear James hasn't stocked. You got it. Anything else? Silas asked. If you're the type, some prayers. After the booze and adrenaline wore off, the events of the day hit Grace like a truck. She lay curled in a ball on the floor of her bedroom, shaking and sobbing. As her phone began to buzz and slowly made its way across the floor in front of her, she blindly groped for it. She wiped at her eyes enough to see the name displayed. Quinn. She'd only left the other woman's room an hour ago. Why would she be calling? Grace stared at the device until the buzzing stopped and the screen faded to black. She turned it off and forced herself to stand, only to fall onto her bed. God damn it. Slowly, she shifted until she was at least near her pillows and pulled the blanket over herself the best she could, trying as hard as she could to force the images that played through her mind over and over away, just long enough for sleep to take her. Hours passed, and Doc only came out of the workshop twice, once for a cigarette, another to ask for fresh coffee. Each time he'd been increasingly stained in blood. He came out of the room a third time, this time scrubbed clean. I have done everything I can. If she will survive, I cannot promise that she will wake. She has suffered quite a lot. If, by some miracle, she does live and regain consciousness, she will never speak again. Her larynx was too severely damaged before even the infection, I think. I do not have a large amount of supplies of antibiotics and disinfectants for her, unless you wish the rest of the town to suffer from the shortage. I believe a supply run is in order. Fiona sighed and took a drag of her cigarette. All right, Doc. Thanks. He gave a slight bow. Now, if you do not mind, I believe I will attempt to sleep before some child with a scraped knee is rushed to me by a frantic mother or some such triviality. Without another word, the man turned on his heel and left. Fiona leaned against her husband. Well, we can't go to Boulder after what happened last time. I bet they're still trying to get rid of all those dogs. And even if they weren't, they'd be pushing it. Maybe somewhere up in Michigan? Grand Rapids might have something for trade. The lake didn't get that far inland, did it? The man shook his head and leaned against her as well. No, not quite. They might be a good bet. Unless we want to risk Patriot territory, it'll probably be a few days till we can get the run done either way. He went silent for a moment, thinking. It might be time to move again, head back into the mountains. The Pats will eventually send someone to figure out what happened to all those men. Might be best for ghosts by the time they're here. Fiona groaned and gently head-butted him. Don't say that. We just got some real trade routes set up. Well, we can stay here and in the next few weeks start dealing with a siege or two. She headbutted him again, this time with a bit of force. Stop making sense, damn it. I'm too tired to try to argue. Fine. We'll see about moving out after we get all this with the girls settled. The captain took a final drag of her cigarette and flicked the butt to the wind. What are we going to do about Grace, too? The man gave a half shrug. By all accounts, she did fine out there today. Yeah, for now. How long till she breaks? Someone mad in this one will either snap and try to kill us all after a few runs, or she'll turn into the coldest, most stone-hearted bitch in the world. We'll worry about that when we have to. He yawned loudly, stretching the arm that wasn't pinned by his wife. I think Doc had the right idea. Let's go get some sleep, love. Yeah, just let me tell Quinn to check on Grace. She's probably the only one she'll talk to right now. The Hunted, Sky, falls under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, Share-alike 3.0 license. For more information, visit creativecommons.org. Music provided by Kevin MacLeod of Incomptech.com. Go support him. He's pretty frickin' awesome.